up, we're going to move on to the beginner's legs class. So we're going to start off standing on your mats. Okay, we're going to work on the alternate knee lift. So drive one knee forward over your toes. And really push through, so you're working through those toes and heels, stretching out the band underneath your foot by driving your knees forward over those toes. Keep up nice and tall. Now speed it up. Get those arms swinging a little bit, but again, just keep that work going through those feet. Excellent, keep that going. And keep up nice and tall through this. Remember about centering, remember about being elongated and keeping your chin tucked in, nice and wide through those shoulders, belly button to spine, pelvic floor pulled up. Keep that rhythm going, just try and keep all the form while you're working on your legs. As you start Pilates, it's really important that we get this correct centering and stance. If you feel that you're beginning to lose that positioning, stop, center yourself off again, and then you can start doing that nice driving of your toes forward again. So just trying to get you so that you can maintain that centering as you start moving arms and legs around. Well done, and coming down to a slow down. And relax off. Okay, now we're going to stand off the mats now, just so we don't have to worry too much about in the balance side of things. So coming off your mats and standing 10 to 2 with your feet, lifting your heels out in line. We're going to work on an exercise called the foot series. So we're going to start off by bending your knees, lifting your heels, pushing up tall, and then lowering back down again. So knee bend, heel lift, stretch and lower. Can you just stand sideways so you keep going? Bend, heel lift, stretch up and lower. Bend, keep going for me. We're going to do 10 of these, keep going, and aiming to get your knees over your toes as you're doing it, and coming up tall as you drive yourself up nice and tall, keeping that head and neck nicely in line, thinking about staying open at your shoulders, belly button to spine, bottoms tucked under as you drive upwards, really working the back muscles of your legs, working them as a team, all through your feet muscles as well. How many are we up to? Coming up to 10. Okay, now we're going to reverse it round the opposite way around. So we're going to come up onto your toes first, knee bend, heels drive down and stretch back up. So up, knee bend, heels down, stretch back up, bend, driving those heels back down again, keeping the knees bent as you're doing that so that you're getting a stretch through the calves. And then it's only the last part that you stretch back up again. Good, up on your toes, bend your knees, drive your heels down, stretch up tall, lift, bend, heels down, stretch up, lift, bend, heels down, stretch up. Think about what's happening with the rest of your body. Make sure you stay centered while you're doing this. Excellent. Should be coming up to the last one now. Well done. Now we're going to work that a little bit harder by turning the toes out so start off with your feet together, turn out, lift your heels in line, turn out again, lift your heels, so not quite in line, so it leaves you at a little bit of an angle with your feet, but you're in a wider stance. And we're going to repeat those same movements, okay? So we're going to work on that foot series again. So you've got to keep your bottom tucked in a little bit more, and you've got to work a little bit more through these outer parts of your hips as you do this. So I'm going to start off with bending your knees first, lift your heels up and stretch up. So same as we were just doing, bend, heel lift, stretch up and lower. Keep going. Up nice and tall through as you stretch up. Bend, heel lift, stretch up and lower. Keep going. Keep counting for me. Now, if you find that is too uncomfortable or you're way too wobbly on this one, then what you can do is just repeat the same one again. Just bring those feet in a little bit so that you're a little bit more stable and work through that position. If you're finding that you're quite good at that and you want to go on to doing these on the mat, if you've done this class a couple of times, then feel free to go onto the mat. The mat will destabilise you. And we've moved on to the working the opposite way around. So lift, knees forward, heels down, stretch up. Lift, knees forward, heels down and stretch up. Keep that going till you get to your 10, up nice and tall. And again, if you want to put your hands on your hips for a little bit more stability and to feel what your hips are doing, then that's a nice bit of a feedback you can get through in using your hands to do that. Excellent, one more. Is that 10? Are we there?
I think so.
Okay, and down. Well done. Right, bringing your feet together now. We're going to work with a straight leg. So going to soften off your left knee and slide out the opposite leg so that you've got your weight supported, you're nice and tall, your bottom's in, and you're going to just tap the toes of that opposite leg. So tapping, excellent, and then bringing it forward to the mat, to the front of the mat. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next exercise. So standing nice and tall with your feet together, you're going to slide one leg out to the side, and if you can, then tap your toe so that you're doing 10 little taps, and then bring your foot back in again. And swap over to the other side. Excellent. And this time we're going to go forwards on the angle. So tapping those toes forwards and then replace. And again, it's the whole leg that's doing the movement rather than doing a little toe tap with the knee bend. Now we're going to go backwards with the leg. So again, on an angle, then out into that corner. Good. And swap legs. Well done. And back in. Right, we're going to repeat that again. So thinking nice and tall, out to the side to start with. 10 little taps if you can. If you can't get your foot off the floor, don't worry about that. Just see if you can lighten the load on that, but keep that good form of that leg being nicely elongated out. And then you're coming forwards on the diagonal. And again, whole leg's got to lift and lower. Well done. Keep swapping one leg to the other. Same thing again, if you can do 4 and do them really well, and just stick with the 4, okay? And then centre back off again, and then repeat the 4. But don't worry about doing 10. If you're beginning to wobble or lose it, then stop, start again. Okay? Well done. Right, moving on to some crab walking. Going to go to one end of your mats, in line with one end of your mat, and we're going to use the length of the mat backwards and forwards without standing on the mat. So going to bob down into crab position, keep up nice and tall, chins in, hands on your hips, and we're going to do nice controlled lift and lower with one leg out to the side and bring the other one in towards it. Excellent. Now, the secret about this is to do both steps have got to be really controlled. Well done. Stepping side to side. Well done. Right, now we're going to come up onto the, so it's going to be a heel lift as you do this. So stepping sideways. You just be a little bit careful if you've got dodgy ankles. And again, just make sure that you do the level that is suitable to you. So if you can, just stepping sideways. It will challenge the balance a lot more. So again, it might be one that you want to come onto when you've done a couple of the classes. Otherwise, again, repeat that same one with your feet flat. Well done. Okay, standing up. So, stand up nice and tall. Think about engaging those muscles through the pelvis area. Think about centering off in that standing position. You're going to turn your toes out. heels together, but just make sure that you haven't stuck your bottom out in the process of doing that. So keep your bottom tucked well in. And you're going to keep hands on your hips so you can feel what they're doing. Don't want them to end up rocking around. Those have got to stay nice and parallel to the mat. And you're going to take steps sideways. So keep those heels pulled, so that you're almost leading with your heels. Keep your toes pulled up towards you. So it's a real Charlie Chaplin walk. Try and keep those legs so that they're nice and straight the whole way through. Try and keep that leg a little bit more straighter, the one that's coming in. Keep your legs straight the whole way through. That's it. Excellent. And now we're going to go the opposite way around, so toes in. And again, just make sure that you're not ending up as you put your toes in, sticking your bottom out. Try and keep everything so it's tucked under. And then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to walk. So you're bringing your toes together. Try and get those big toes to just touch as you step from one to the other. Keep your bottoms under. It's quite a natural movement, is this. It really works through these hips area. If you have got tight or sore hips, then just be really careful with this one, because it does work quite hard through those hip rotator areas. Okay, we're going to do same thing again. We're going to go toes out for the first one and then toes in for the next one. And then back again. Super. And toes in as you step. And again, the more slowly that you do these exercises, then the more control you have to have of these. And then back in the opposite direction. Well done. Excellent. Okay, coming back into where you've got a little bit of space, and we're going to work a little bit more on balance. So thinking about having your weight through both feet to start with. Get centered and sit standing up nice and tall, chin in. And now I want you to think about pushing all of your weight through one foot. Really grow tall through that foot and peel the opposite heel off the floor so that you can bring that knee up in front. So see how that the minute you start putting all the weight through one, it almost feels quite light to be able to bring that opposite leg up. Trying to keep your balance with your knee up in front if you can. And then slowly replace. And you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to center off and then make sure that you're pushing through one side, and then you'll find the leg will lift quite easily. Now, it may take you quite a few attempts to be able to even get your toes to come off the floor. So think about starting again. Come up nice and tall and then push through one foot and then come out. If you want to put your arms out for a little bit more balance work as you do it, that's absolutely fine. And replacing. So keep swapping over. And then just try and do a little bit longer, standing up, balance on one leg. Again, if you'll find that you've done this a couple of times and you want to move on to make it a little bit more challenging, then you can always stand onto the mat and do some of these one-legged standing on the mat. Okay. So peeling off. This will destabilise you a certain amount, so it will make you quite wobbly. So just be really careful as you swap from the floor where you've got quite a lot of stability to going on to a mat that destabilises you. Okay, right, standing off your mat a minute. Let's just bring this back a little bit on. So we're going to crack on with getting some exercises down in lying. So you're going to lie over onto your side for me first. Now, this is quite a difficult position to centre in, so do make sure that you're centred properly. And to start with, we're going to have the legs both bent up in this position. Make sure that you're not banana shaped and you've got that waist lifted. Straighten out the top leg in line with your body. Okay. And again, just make sure that our hip's not rolling back. Keep that hip foot nicely forward. And pull your toes up towards you. We're just going to lift and lower. So touch the mat, come back down to touch the mat and lift back up again to hip height. We're going to do sets of 5. So 5 lifts and lowers and then rest down. Excellent. Now point your toes, and we're going to do 5 lifts and lowers with your toes pointed. Again, staying in line with your body. Well done. Now moving the top leg forward so it's in line with the corner of your mat. And same thing again, toes pulled up towards you. We're going to lift and lower 5 times. Touch the mat and come back up to around about hip height. Keeping that belly button pulled towards the spine. And now we're going to point for the second 5. So lift and lower, lift and lower. Excellent. And relax off. Coming back into line with the body. Keep that hip, check your positioning. Make sure shoulders over shoulder, hips over hip, and legs in line with body. Toes pulled towards you. We're going to repeat that again. So lifting up to hip height and touch the mat. 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. And we're going to go on to doing it with the toes pointed this time. Pointing your toes and lift and lower. Same thing again, rest down at 2, 3, it doesn't matter. It's however many you can control your hip movement for as you do these. Relax down, move your leg forwards to the corner of your mat, toes towards you, leading with your heel, lift and lower. Well done. And rest down. When you've done 5, point your toes and lift and lower. Excellent, keep it all really nice and still. The only thing that's moving is that leg. Back in line with body. We can do one more set on that. Okay, so check you're centered, belly button to spine, pelvic floor up to level 7, and lift and lower. Going up to hip height if you can, a little bit higher for me, that's better. And then have a rest down, point your toes, and lift. 2, 3, 4, 5, rest down, take your leg forward, and toes up, lift. 2, 3, 4, 5, and lower back down again. Now straighten out your bottom leg, bend up your top leg, drop it down. Oh, do we miss pointing? So pointing your toes, do those last 5.
Sorry.
Just duped you into an extra set with your leg. And relax off. So straighten out that bottom one, bring that top one right up, and give it a good old rub out through those muscles that have just been doing some good old work there. Excellent. Well done. Now we're going to finish up just one more exercise on this side before we go over into a little bit onto the other side. We're going to stretch out. Keep this leg bent up underneath. Stretch out this leg so that it's in line with your body. And we're going to lift and we're going to draw 3 little circles in one direction, 3 little circles in the opposite direction. So 3 little circles and 3 in reverse. And take your leg, relax off, slide your leg forward to the corner of your mat, and then again lift up, 3 little circles, just drawing with your heel, and then back for 3. Good, and bring your leg back, just let it rest down for a minute, toes towards you, draw with your heel, 3 little circles, just repeating that same exercise. And 3 back. And again, if you find that this is too tough, then just go back to the other exercise that we were just doing. Move it forward and toes towards you with your heel. 3 in each direction. Do what you can, but don't hurt yourself. It should make you ache, but it shouldn't make you hurt. And relax off, well done. Right, let's go over onto your other side now. So we're going to start off with doing the leg out straight in line, toes pulled towards you. We're doing the tap the mat and lift back up to hip height for 5, Going to rest down when you've done your 5. And then again, each time you rest down, make sure you're centered before you lift your leg again. Point your toes for 5. And relax down. Slide your leg forward so that you're towards the corner of your mat. Toes pull towards you. Lift and lower for 5. And point your toes. Go to lift again for 5. All the time, just check where you are in line and bringing it back in line. Going to repeat those again. Lifting and lowering. And pointing. And taking it forward. Lead with your heel. Lift for 5. And rest down and point for 5. Heel, lift, in line, 3, 4, 5, rest down, point your toes, lift, 2, 3, 4, 5, lower down, slide it forward, toes towards you, lead with your heel for 5. Excellent. And toes pointed for the last ones. I won't forget it this time. Lift, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lower down. Now, last one's just in line with your body. And pull your toes towards you. We're doing those, lifting it to hip height. 3 little circles in one direction. 3 little circles in the opposite direction. And then lower down. Sliding it forward. Lifting when you're ready, heels, lead, 2, 3, and reverse, 2, 3, and relax down. Just make sure that you're not losing your hips. Bring your heel back. Last set, toes towards you, lead with that heel, 3 little circles in one direction. Try and keep it circles as best you can. Reverse for the other 3, and lower down. Taking that leg forward to the corner of your mat, lifting toes towards you, and 3 little circles in each direction. Excellent. Well done. And bring that leg right up. Give it a good old rub out. Okay, now you're going to roll over onto your back, so we're going to stretch those muscles out now. Okay, crossing one leg over, then push your knee away from you. You'll feel it pull in one of the little muscles in your bottom area. So keeping that ankle supported, and you just go to the point where you feel a bit of tension. It shouldn't hurt, so keep that tension on through, just to give it like an elastic band. Put a little bit of pull on the elastic band, but not up against the stops on it. And then we're going to take the pressure off with this hand, pull in this lower thigh. So pull in, and again, you'll feel a pull in a different area. Hold it there. And just keep your chins in when you're doing this stretch. Just make sure that you're not pulling your head and your neck up off the mat. And replace your foot, and grabbing the ankle and the knee are the same. Going to pull the knee towards the opposite shoulder, and then wind it up a little bit further by pulling your ankle in towards your opposite shoulder as well. So it gives it the rotation to pull up the little muscles in the bottom there. So what you're working for, don't hurt your knees on this one, because it does put a bit of a torsion on your knees. Just be a little bit careful that you don't end up irritating any knee issues there. Okay, and we're going to swap over to the opposite leg. So swapping over, ankle over towards your knee, pushing your knee away from you. Good, keep that going for a little bit longer. Well done, and relax off, and we're going to pull this lower thigh in. pulling in. Well done. A little bit longer. And then we're going to replace this foot, grab onto the knee, pull the knee towards the opposite shoulder and the ankle, and just squeeze in till you pick that stretch up through the bottom muscles. Where are you feeling that one?
Around here.
Yeah. Okay, and now let the pressure come off. Now we're going to pop the feet and knees together and turn your toes out to 10 to 2, lift your heels out in line, and from this position you're going to centre off, just make sure that everything is where it should be, and again just make sure that those shoulders aren't creeping up towards your ears. Just push those hands long and then just let them recoil to where they're comfortable to go to. Keep your chin in, head and neck nice and long. So from that starting position, we're going to go into shoulder bridge. Probably one of the most difficult exercises to do well in Pilates is the shoulder bridge. We're going to think about squashing your back into the mat, scooping your bottom up and lifting up one vertebra at a time as you come up. So think of it as a string of pearls or a string of beads. You're picking up the bottom one and each one is coming up in turn, and then you're going to lower back down again. So you're going to lower from the top end. Each one's going to come back down again. And it gets to a point halfway down that you tend to want to drop the whole lot in one go. So it takes a lot of practice to be able to pop each vertebrae back down on the mat in turn. Okay, so we're not used to moving so independently through the vertebra. And slowly back down again. Well done. Well done, that's not an easy one to do at all. And going to do 3 more. So squashing in, scooping up, really control it, keep it nice and slow so that you can work each vertebra at a time. And coming down one at a time as you lower back down again. And as you do this, you're coming up to the point where your hips need to come up level and stable. So they come up off the mat like that, and then they go back down onto the mat like that. And you don't end up seesawing with your hips, with one coming up and then the other coming up to meet it. So try and think about both legs working at the same time. So they're working as a pair, coming up to lift those hips up and to come back down again. If you've had hip, knee or back issues, then often you'll find that one hip goes up quite nicely and the other one lags behind big time for numerous reasons. Excellent. Right, we're going to do a little bit more through that by bringing the heels, lifting the heels up so that you're going to push through your toes on this one. So just push up through your toes. Going to do the same thing, but you're only going to go a little way and stop and come back down again. So we're just doing that first part of bridging, just lifting up and lifting back down again. I'm going to do 5 little mini bridges on this one. Then just be careful you don't go into cramp in your calf or your hamstrings. If you find that this is too uncomfortable, or you're finding that you aren't able to lift those hips so that they're level and stable, just come back to taking those feet out a little bit further, put your feet flat again. Excellent. And one more. Okay. Good. And relax down. Now we're going to go over onto all fours now, and going to tuck your toes underneath you as you come up. And we're going to just stretch out those hamstrings. So grab onto your ankles, keep your knees bent, let your head and shoulders relax off. And keeping your chest towards your knees, then going to gently try and straighten your legs to where you can. Now you will find that what will happen is it will tighten up. You'll get to a point where you'll feel a pull on those hamstrings. Just hold it in that position. Keep hold of those ankles and just straighten your legs as far as you can to feel that tension kicking in. Now let your knees relax off. Bring your toes together, leave your heels out. Chest towards your knees, and then just gently try and straighten those knees a little bit. You won't be able to get your knees straight probably, but don't worry about how far they go. Go with what you're feeling. Keep that chest towards your knees. A little bit longer. And then let your knees relax off. Bring your heels together and your toes out this time. so that you're standing in this position. And you're going to, again, keep hold of your ankles, chest towards your knees, gently straighten those knees out so that you're just kicking those hamstrings in, so feeling a little bit of a tension on those hamstrings. Well done. And let those knees bend again. Bring the heels out again so that your feet are hip width apart. And holding onto the ankles, keep those knees nice and bent, chest towards your knees, just gently straighten your knees. Let your head and shoulders relax off. Well done. Feel that tension in your hamstrings. And now let go of your ankles. And we're going to just roll up one vertebra at a time up into standing. So think about from the bottom, each little building block of your vertebra is going to come up one at a time as you come up into that nice, tall, long, centered standing. Think about belly button to spine, think about shoulders nice and open and coming up nice and tall. Now we're just going to finish off with a little bit of a stretch as just link the arms in front, stretching it all the way up. Excellent. And push out to come back down again. Well done. And now we're just going to let the hands just drop down and just imagine drawing circles with your hands on your outer thigh. And then we're going to go the opposite way around, up and round. And just let your arms relax down, standing up really nice and tall. And just take a good deep breath in and out. Just tuck those ribs in a little bit for me, lovely. And relax off. Well done. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so that you don't miss any further classes. And I hope you enjoyed the class.